Personality refers to the individual differences in characteristic patterns of thinking, feeling, and behaving. Personality includes differences between people in how they typically think. For example, do people tend to focus on the positive, optimists, or the negative, pessimists? Personality includes differences between people in how they typically feel. For example, do people tend to be happy or unhappy? Do they experience intense emotions or not? Do they get angry easily? Personality includes differences between people in how they typically behave. For example, do they tend to talk a lot? Are they neat and tidy or sloppy and disorderly? Do they usually go along with what other people want, or do they insist on doing things their way? Personality does not refer to physical characteristics, abilities, or temporary states. Personality refers to differences between people in their psychological characteristics, not physical or biological differences. Example, height or age. Personality doesn't include many skills or abilities. Personality is about what people are typically like, not what they are capable of at their best. Personality doesn't include fleeting states like hunger, arousal, or mood. Just because a person happens to be happy at a given moment doesn't mean it is part of his or her personality. That is why the characteristic patterns part of the definition is so important. Traits are aspects of personality that are relatively stable over time, differ across individuals. For example, some people are outgoing, whereas others are not. Traits are relatively consistent over situations and influence behavior. Traits are in contrast to states, which are more transitory dispositions. Trait theories of personality have long attempted to pin down exactly how many traits exist. Earlier theories have suggested various numbers. For instance, Gordon Allport's list contained 4,000 personality traits, Raymond Cattell had 16 personality factors, and Hans Eysenck offered a three-factor theory. Many researchers felt that Cattell's theory was too complicated and Eysenck's was too limited in scope. As a result, the Big Five personality traits emerged and are used to describe the broad traits that serve as building blocks of personality. Several researchers support the belief that there are 5 core personality traits. The Big Five personality traits, acronymed OCEAN, and also known as the Five-Factor Model or FFM, sufficiently describe the reality of humanity. In no particular order, the 5 personality traits are: openness to experience, inventive and curious versus consistent and cautious; conscientiousness, efficient and organized versus extravagant and careless; extraversion, outgoing and energetic versus solitary and reserved; agreeableness, friendly and compassionate versus critical and rational; neuroticism, sensitive and nervous versus resilient and confident. It is important to note that each of the 5 primary personality traits represents a range between 2 extremes. For example, extraversion represents a continuum between extreme extraversion and extreme introversion. In the real world, most people lie somewhere in between. While there is a significant body of literature supporting these primary personality traits, researchers don't always agree on the exact labels for each dimension. For instance, when measuring extraversion, one would not be classified as purely extroverted or introverted, but placed on a scale determining their level of extraversion. By ranking individuals on each of these traits, it is possible to effectively measure individual differences in personality. Each of the Big Five represents a broad set of related behavioral characteristics. For example, extraversion represents individual differences in social engagement, assertiveness, and energy level. Highly extrovert individuals enjoy socializing with others, are comfortable expressing themselves in group situations, and frequently experience positive emotions such as enthusiasm and excitement. In contrast, introverted individuals tend to be socially and emotionally reserved. Agreeableness captures differences in compassion, respectfulness, and acceptance of others. Conscientiousness represents differences in organization, productiveness, and responsibility. Highly conscientious individuals prefer order and structure, work persistently to pursue their goals, and are committed to fulfilling their duties and obligations, whereas unconscientious individuals are comfortable with disorder and less motivated to complete tasks. Neuroticism, sometimes referred to by its socially desirable pull, emotional stability, captures differences in the frequency and intensity of negative emotions. Highly neurotic individuals are prone to experiencing anxiety, sadness, and mood swings, whereas emotionally stable individuals tend to remain calm and resilient, even in difficult circumstances. Finally, openness to experience, sometimes referred to as intellect, represents differences in intellectual curiosity, aesthetic sensitivity, and imagination. Highly open individuals enjoy thinking and learning, are sensitive to art and beauty, and generate original ideas, whereas close-minded individuals tend to have a narrow range of intellectual and creative interests. Personality development is defined as a process of enhancing one's personality. Personality development sessions guide an individual as to how he/she can develop his/her personality.